it's Rachel. Today on Crack Your Bible, we are finally getting into Genesis 12 to talk about the first patriarch of the Bible, and that is Abraham. Now, of course, before we get started, make sure you hit subscribe with the bell with the parentheses so that you get notified of a new Crack Your Bible message, because YouTube and Google, they don't want you to know the gospel. They don't want you to be able to put on the full armor of God, so they make you jump through 10,000 hoops. Just do it. Just hit subscribe with the bell with the parentheses, and let's get started. Now, I am so glad you guys are here today because this weekend has been a real mess. Now, make sure you keep Crack Your Bible in your prayers because some crazies are out in full force, disliking, downvoting, all sorts of stuff because literally they are crawling with demons. Like, these demons have no weekend plans except like delete, 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 let's be mockers or whatever. So it's just like, gotta deal with that. So make sure you do keep Crack Your Bible in your prayers because, again, Satan does not like people knowing the gospel. So he will do whatever he can to make sure that he can try to discredit or get rid of these gospel messages. Now, aside from all that craziness, which we know is going to happen, that's just part of being a Christian, we need to talk about Abraham. And just like we spent so much time talking about Noah, I gotta warn you, we're gonna be spending a whole lot of time talking about Abraham from here on out, pretty much, especially until the end of the year. Like, there's no bones about that. So let's just get started, because in Genesis 12:1, Terah has already died. It's just Abraham, and then he has a brother Nahor, and then his nieces and nephews. So Milcah, Iscah, which we think is Sarai, and Lot. And they are just chilling in this city called Haran. Now, Genesis 12:1 opens up with, "Now the Lord said to Abram, go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you." Okay, hold on. Who is the Lord here? As Christians, we know that the Bible does not contradict each other. So when we see something, for those of you who have read the Bible or you're more familiar with these stories, we need to reconcile John 6:46 with Genesis 12:1, because John 6:46 says, "Not that anyone has seen the Father except he who is from God. He has seen the Father." Okay, if nobody's seen the Father, then who is this Lord speaking to Abram, who will become Abraham in the future? Because we will see in Genesis 17, 18, 21, throughout the Bible, people are coming face to face with God. So if it's not the Father, who is it? It's Jesus. It's Jesus. It's Jesus, because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1:1. So, yeah, from the beginning, it was Jesus, and Jesus' whole purpose is to be the mouthpiece of the triune God. He's the one who speaks. Logos is, in the Greek, how we describe Jesus. So Jesus's nature is to be the mouthpiece. He's the one who's speaking. So every time in the Old Testament that you see somebody interacting with God or the Lord, they are interacting with Jesus. Now, I'm going to put up here a video that somebody else did about Hebrew words and how we can see even from the beginning. In the beginning, we see Jesus. In the word, in the beginning, in Hebrew. It's amazing. From the jump, from the beginning, it's all about Jesus. This whole story, this entire Bible is all about Jesus. Now, there's another point that we gotta make, because if Abram is being told by the Lord, leave everybody, leave this place, leave the country, leave your family, like, y'all gotta bounce. Okay, well, that brings up an interesting point, because in John 8, Jesus is speaking to some new Jewish believers. Like, they kind of believe in Jesus, they think that they're believers in Jesus, but they don't have enough footing in the Word. They're not rooted in the Word, so they can easily be led astray. And Jesus is talking to him, and things get heated. They want to kill Jesus because Jesus makes this statement. And if you've checked out Crack Your Bible social media, you will see that this is the verse of the week today. And it is this: your father Abraham rejoiced that he would see my day, and he saw it and was glad. Jesus right there is telling you that in Genesis 12:1, he was there. He met Abraham. Abraham saw Jesus. Oh my goodness. Everybody freaks out. Now remember, these are people who supposedly believe in Jesus. Now, you can believe in Jesus and then fall away from the faith, and then you're no longer a believer. It's the ones who endure to the end. Those are the ones who are Christians. So yeah, you can absolutely lose your faith, but only the Christians who endure till the end are the ones who are saved. So everyone freaks out, and the Jews say, this is John 8:57, so the Jews said to him, you are not yet 50 years old, and you have seen Abraham? Like, they know exactly what Jesus is saying, because they're like, hold on, you're not old enough to have seen Abraham, who lived 2,000 years ago. Like, you're not even 50, Jesus, okay? What are you talking about? You're not old enough to have seen him. Jesus says to them, truly, truly. Now, when he says truly, truly, he means like for real. I'm not even playing. I am not over-exaggerating, because in the Middle East, just like I do, we love hyperbole. So we say these like over-exaggerating things for effect, even though it's obvious that we're saying it for effect. It's not a lie, it's hyperbole. So he's saying, no, it's not hyperbole. I'm not over-exaggerating for effect. I'm being straight with you right now. Truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was, I am. Everybody just freaks out. This is it. They're done. Forget Jesus. They have some stoning to do. The crowd goes wild. Jesus right there is telling them, I'm God. I am. Because you have to understand that Jesus is bringing up a lot of stuff from the Old Testament that we here on Crack Your Bible, we haven't gotten to that yet. But in Exodus 3:13 through 15, Moses is speaking to God, Jesus, and he said, who am I supposed to tell everybody that I've been speaking with? And Jesus, in the Old Testament, says, tell them, I am. That's my name. I am God. So the Jews, they flip out. So not only is he saying that he saw Abraham, he's saying that he's the one that met with Moses and said, I am. He's claiming, I am God. I'm that same one in Genesis, in Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. It's all me. I am. Before everybody ever existed, I am. I am God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Jesus is just pounding that home. Now, these supposed Christians, they're new believers kind of thing, they get so upset that they are ready to stone Jesus. And Jesus is like, okay, gotta go, bye. Like, peace out. Because not only have they been going back and forth where Jesus is like, you know what, you guys are a bunch of liars, John 8:55. So if you think that I'm mean to people online, or like, oh, that's not very nice, like, you guys really wouldn't have liked Jesus, because he just like throws it all down. Y'all are liars, you're children of the devil, and these people are freaking out because they take heart in the fact that they are Jews. They are descended from Abraham, and that's what makes them special. And Jesus is here to say on the scene, before Abraham even existed, I am. I'm God. And that is what makes people important, is if you are together with God. It has nothing to do with being born of a human being. That's not what makes you special. You aren't special because you're a specific race or you're from a certain country. No, what makes you special is that you belong to God. And people get upset because people love to take heart in like, oh, I'm from this place and I'm from this person and that's what makes me special. And Jesus is like, none of that even matters, because before everybody ever existed, I am, and that's what is important. But in this whole argument, in this whole back and forth with all of these people who end up losing their faith, they don't finish their race, they don't endure to the end, so yeah, they aren't in heaven. Sorry to break it to you, but we see from this whole dialogue that Jesus is saying he is the God who Abraham saw his day and was glad. And I could get more into that, but we're going to be talking about that in about 5 chapters in Genesis 17 and 18, because we're going to see that Jesus comes down to Abram and says that he's going to have a son. And Abram's like, okay, I'm like a bajillion years old. Y'all joking over here. Like, why you gotta do me like that? So he's laughing, Sarai's laughing. But he believes. He's like, okay. And he looks forward to that day where he's going to have a kid. And Jesus comes back on the scene once they do have this kid. So he's looking forward to this day. He sees this day. And so these are the instances that Jesus is talking about in the New Testament to tell everybody who's a Jew, hey, I'm that same God in the Old Testament. Recognize me, remember me, like here I am on the scene. So we can see from Genesis 12:1, the Lord who is speaking to Abram is Jesus. And we are going to see Jesus and Abraham interacting throughout the book of Genesis. So that's all I wanted to share with y'all today. I'd love it if you would like, subscribe, and share. Do make sure you check out some of the other Crack Your Bible playlists. I've been trying to put up different playlists that deal with different types of things to see what you guys like. So I'll put one up here for you to check out. I'll put another one up here. And let me know down in the comments, like, what kind of things do you want to see? Because I do have a list of requests from people, but what kind of playlists do you want to have? What kind of video topics do you want to talk about, so that I can kind of put together stuff that you guys are interested in. So again, I will see you guys on Wednesday, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.